going to have a field to fill in our information. So keeping these buttons where they are. I don't think I'm going to need any of this stuff at this time, so I'm going to delete it. I can always slide it back over. But let's go ahead and let's just say we're going to break this up a little bit. Maybe we'll make this an H3. Again, let's turn our grid on so it does exceed and go outside of our grid a little bit. So I'm going to bump that down. Make sure, so that would mean my text box would be much smaller there. So you can paste it in there. You can also draw a text box. That is actually, in fact, probably better to do it that way. So this way, when you pass it to your developer, they know that it should not exceed. Okay, so now we know, we can see we are within our grid. And then what else do we need? 10% off your first order. Because this is the main. I'm just going to make that a little bit larger. Oops, again, I'm just going to make a text box. Turn that grid back on. We can do probably something much nicer with our typography here. I'm just not going to do that at this time. So I don't really waste anybody's time. And let's just say we're going to add a photo there, perhaps. Actually, let's stitch that photo. So let's now go over to our mobile screens and let's see, we can zoom out and let's see if we can find a form field, perhaps, maybe a contact. That's a good one. Not really a fan of any of those. Let's see what else we have. Pop up. Not really liking any of those, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do my own. Again, I'm going to make it a circular box because I like things to stay nice and consistent. I'm going to take that border off. And now we'll call this, we can say submit. We can say, we can have a little fun with this. We can say, get eating, something funny like that. So because we just have a basic field here with, say, an email address, maybe we want to have two where we have an email and our actual name. You folks, however you might have outlined this when you did your sketches. So we have name and email, and then we do have submit here. Again, we can maybe add a small picture. Maybe we want to have a picture of the background. Maybe that's, adding too many crazy things here. So let's just really funny. My dog is wagging his tail, but it's like creating a glare in my room. So it looks like there's like a rainbow forming in my office here. Okay, so that's kind of where we are with that. So doggy's here. Let's see what else we're missing. I feel like I'm missing something in there. Oh, you can add a little bit of fine print as well. Little checkbox with an opt-in, etc. But we can just say, let's just submit now. I would probably play with this a bit more because I personally don't. I would prefer if these buttons were aligned better. So we could potentially move these down, maybe move this down, and maybe I want to keep that logo up on there. just to continue with a little bit of brand recognition. This is where you start, again, you just start to play. Let's delete that. So now we end up in our home ordering screen. So I'm just going to slide that over. Granted, none of this stuff is going to be here because this is our home screen. And also another note, I've mentioned this several times, but I still saw it in some of the matrix. We do not need navigation on like our hamburger menu or any sticky menu on our onboarding screen. That is not the intention of those. We need to make sure that these are clean and our navigation appears on our home screen. So let's go home. Get something in the chat here. We need to make the same. Not sure what you mean, Sanjana. We need to make the same. I might have to, I'll circle back to that because I'm not 100% sure what you might mean there. Okay, so all we have is order now, and that's it. So let's take this. We're going to bring our logo in because we always want to make sure we see our logo. We're going to have an order now button. And because this is most definitely what we are really want to highlight here, I'm going to make that order now button quite large. Let's turn those grids on so we can really see what we're doing. And then maybe we're going to have this button text much larger. We need to maybe up that weight. Same thing, those are a bit dark. Quite dark enough. So big giant order now. Perhaps maybe that's a little bit too big. Like what we are doing right now, we need to. No, you don't need to do this with me. This is all part of your assignment, Sanjana. So you can do however you want, but whenever we're asking people to provide their name and their email, we need to be sure that they can submit or okay. It could be whatever you kind of wanted to say. So let's say we're our order now. We're going to have a nice background color or image there. So now this is where we decide what kind of navigation we want to do. So let's just say immediately I want to do a sticky nav at the bottom. I'm going to do it quite dark. It's a bit heavy. So we need to figure out what our screens are. So you can go ahead and you can draw your own icons. I'm personally a fan of that because it keeps things consistent. It keeps the look and feel the way I want it to be, but we can always try to use our plugins and see if there's maybe some plugins we can use. So we want to have a home button. What else do we need? We need a menu button, a restaurant menu button. Those are, whoops, I hit that twice. What else do we need? We need a profile button. Maybe we'll just call that person. There's a good one. And what's our last one? Oh, we need a cart. We always want to be able to circle back and check our shopping cart out. Whoopsies. So again, whoop, my fingers are moving too fast here. Oh my gosh. I'm all thumbs right now. Okay, there we go. We have our icons here. So this is also where we want to ensure we have the order exactly how we want it to be. So do we want to have our shopping cart at the very end? Because intuitively, we always kind of, that's the end of the process. So we pop it at the end. maybe our ordering button is there, and then we have our profile button, but you're welcome to decide what you think is best. Sophia, we just have to follow the first sketch. Yes, correct, Sophia. So I'm obviously not working off of a sketch right now. I'm just doing this as a demo. But yes, and as you're doing this, things very well might change from your sketches. You might see, oh, this is, you know, what I did here. It's when now, like I said, when you're working in your pixels, it's not exactly working for your design now. So it might mean some mild or moderate adjustments. So we look at our height. I like the size of this button, so I'm going to go with our 31.5 pixels in height. So I just want to make sure we stay consistent on all of them. So always make sure we're locked up here. Okay. So now I'm going to select all of those. Make sure we're nice and evenly spaced. These are not exactly working within my grid, which drives me a little bit crazy. Because I would like those to all. Okay, and I'm not going to get into this because you guys are going to end up watching me go a little bit nuts. So let's just leave them like that for now. I would prefer if those had something to align to. So might mean adjusting the size. Am I missing a screen? Ordering. No. Okay. I'm getting wrapped up in those something silly there. So I'm gonna, not really silly, but making sure we're aligned. Okay. So we're on our home screen. So we want to make sure that that one icon is highlighted. So we can screen these guys back. Maybe I want to make sure that that one's in white. I'll just get to that question in just a brief moment.